So let us start the rational jet transform, and we will see the what are poles and zeros in rational jet transform. So far we have seen the jet transform of many signals like delta n. It's a jet transform is 1, and region of convergence is entire z plane. And if you see the z transform of the signal un, z transform of the signal un, it happens to be 1 over 1 minus z inverse. Okay, and the region of convergence is mod z greater than unity. Okay, this is the region of convergence. Or you can also express this z transform in the form of z over z minus 1. This is also a correct expression for its z transform. You can see other functions like alpha and un. The z transform of this signal is 1 over 1 minus alpha z inverse. Okay, and this can also be written in some other form like z over z minus alpha, with mod z is greater than alpha, because this signal is causal signal. Okay, and region of convergence of any causal signal happens to be the exterior of some circle. If it is an infinite duration causal signal, so the region of convergence of this kind of signal happens to be a exterior of the circle. Okay. Now if you see that all these z transform, they are expressed in the form of some numerator polynomial of z over denominator polynomial of z, numerator polynomial of z and denominator polynomial of z. This means they are expressed in this form, some numerator over denominator kind of thing, and that too expressed in the z or z inverse. Okay, so this kind of z transform, which is expressed as some numerator over denominator kind of thing, is called rational z transform. Okay, and if the value of this z transform, suppose this signal is known as xn, so this will be known as xz, or simply saying this xn is equal to alpha and un. If we concentrate on this signal, so naturally xz is equal to z over z minus alpha. Okay, now if this xz happens to be equal to 0, for this to be equal to 0, we have to equate the term in the coefficient, the term in the numerator to be equal to 0. And if we equate this to be equal to 0, then what are the roots of this numerator polynomial which makes it equal to 0? We have to see those roots of numerator polynomial, and those roots of numerator polynomial gives you the zeros of the function. Okay, now suppose if I wish to make this xz to be equal to infinity, for making this xz to be equal to infinity, what I need to do? I have to make this denominator polynomial, I have to equate this denominator polynomial equal to 0. And if I equate this denominator polynomial equal to 0, it will give a root z is equal to alpha. Okay, now this root is known as pole of this rational function. Getting my point? Okay, so this was with one of the specific case, one of the specific signal. In general, if we take a signal, if we take a general form of signal, and it's a Z transform. So it is expressed like in rational form. A Z transform is expressed as numerator polynomial in Z and denominator polynomial in Z, and in its expanded form it can be written as b0 plus b1 z is to the power minus 1 going this way up to bm z is to the power minus m over, you can write it a0 plus a1 z is to the power minus 1 going this way up to a n z is to the power minus n. Okay. And in its compact form, this summation, it can be written in summation form like it is say k equal to 0 to m bk z is to the power minus k, and summation k equals to 0 to n ak z is to the power minus k. In its compact form, these summations can be written like this. Now, if you simply take b0 and z is to the power minus m common in the numerator polynomial, b0 and z is to the power minus m common in the numerator polynomial, it will be equal to what? This b0 is taken out, and then just to nullify the effect of this z is to the power minus m, you have to multiply it by z is to the power m. Okay. Then plus b1 over b0, because b0 has been taken out, and this will be z is to the power m has to be multiplied to nullify the effect of this z is to the power minus m, and here itself there is z is to the power minus 1, so it will be z to the power m minus 1, and going this way this will be, the last term will be bm over b0, z is power minus m plus m minus m is 0, means this is equal to 1. Okay. This is all about your numerator. What happens for denominator? You take a0 common and z is to the power minus n common. Okay. So this will be equal to z is to the power n for this, and then a1 over a0 z is to the power n minus 1. Okay. Going this way an over a0. Am I right? This is the situation. Now, if you write down these coefficients and if you see the order of this polynomial, it is mth order and this is nth order. So it will have m different roots and it will have n roots. Okay. So if we write it in its form of root, it will be written something like this. This will be b0 over a0 and z is to the power n minus m. Okay. Z is to the power n minus m, and then z minus z1, the very first root, z minus z2, and going this way up to z minus zm. There are m roots, and similarly z minus p1 you can say, the root of denominator polynomial, then z minus p2 going this way z minus pn. These are the roots. Okay. So you can write this to be a, you can equate or you can write the equivalence of this as a gain factor. b0 over a0 is known as a gain factor, and then rest of the equation can be written as z is to the power n minus m, and now it can be written as a product form. This means this will be product ranging from say I equal to 1 to m, I equal to 1 to m z minus zi. Okay, and similarly product ranging from say k equal to 1 to n z minus pk. Okay, this can be written like this. So this equation, it is apparent that this is having m zeros situated at z1 z2 and zm, and n poles situated at p1 p2 and pn. And the rest of the term, if you see this term, this will give you n minus m zeros if n is greater than m at origin. Okay, this term will contribute if suppose n is greater than m. Okay, am I right? M corresponds to this term. Okay, naturally if n is greater than m, it is going to give you n minus m zeros at origin. Okay, and if n is less than m, then naturally this will be some z is to the power negative power, and whatever the value, if n is less than m, so naturally it will come in the denominator. This term in that situation will come in the denominator, and that will contribute to the pole at the origin. Okay, in that situation it will contribute to those number of poles at the origin. So if n is less than m, then n minus m, you can say, or m minus n poles are at the origin, are found at the origin. Okay, so this way, looking at the expression, we can plot the pole zero pattern or pole zero plot for a given rational Z transform. Suppose I am writing a very simple, I will draw a very simple pole zero pattern for a rational Z transform, and before that I would like to indicate you that a zero on the plot is indicated by circle, a small circle, and pole on the plot is indicated by a small cross on the plot. Okay, and if suppose at the same point there are many number of zeros or many number of poles, multiplicity of zeros and poles are found, then it is indicated by the number nearby. Okay, suppose if there are two zeros at the same point, then it will be indicated by a circle at that point and 2 immediately adjacent to this. This 2 shows that there are two zeros at the same point. Okay, so let us draw a pole zero pattern for a signal. This is the simplest possible problem, an un, for a is greater than 0. So to plot a pole zero pattern, we need to write the Z transform. And what is Z transform? This we know that this is Z is equal to Z minus A. Z is equal to xz is equal to Z over Z minus A. So the roots of this numerator polynomial is Z is equal to 0. Z is equal to 0. This means suppose if I plot the pole zero pattern in Z plane, so a 0 is obtained at origin, and pole is obtained at Z is equal to A, we obtain a pole. suppose A is situated somewhere here. A is situated somewhere here. So pole is obtained over here. Now what is region of convergence? If you see, the region of convergence, mod Z is greater than mod A. Here it is A. Okay. So naturally you will draw a circle having radius A, and exterior to this circle will be the region of convergence. Why? Because this is greater than A. It is not including A. You should always note it down that it is not including A. It is greater than A. Okay. So this is exterior to this circle. The region of convergence never incorporates the pole. Region of convergence never incorporates the pole. If it incorporates the pole, the signal will become, our system will become unbounded. Okay. So you see, this is the simplest pole zero plot that I have drawn. Okay. Now let us take few more examples. You can also proceed in reverse direction. If pole zero pattern is given to you, you can realize this signal. If pole zero plot is given to you, you can estimate what would be the signal. Okay. Suppose if a rational Z transform is given to us, Hz is equal to 2z, z plus 1, z minus 1 by 3, and z square plus 1 by 4, and z square plus 4z plus 5. This is one of the Z transform given to us. So we have to plot its a pole zero pattern. It's a pole zero pattern. This is very simple. You can very easily see the zeros. If you equate the numerator polynomial equal to 0, so a 0 occurs at Z is equal to 0, and a 0 occurs at Z is equal to minus 1. Okay, the roots of numerator polynomial will give you the zeros. The roots of denominator polynomial will give you the poles. Okay. So if you plot the pole zero pattern of this, so there will be a 0 at origin, and there will be a 0 at minus 1. This is Z is equal to minus 1. What about the poles? What about the poles? One of the pole occurs at Z is equal to 1 by 3. Z is equal to 1 by 3. So if suppose this is unity, unit distance, so this distance is somewhere at Z is equal to 1 by 3. Okay. Now what about the rest of the poles? The pole which is given by this term, the roots are, if you see, the roots are, suppose this was pole P1 at 1 by 3, P2 and P3, we will get two poles at the same value, but this is plus minus j half. Okay. This will be the root. One root will be plus half j, and other root will be minus half j if you evaluate. Okay. So where these poles will be situated? You see, this is imaginary axis. This is unity point, you can say. This is one value. This is half j. Okay. So one of the pole is half j, and another pole is minus half j. What about the poles which is which corresponds to the root of this equation. What will be the root of this equation? It will also give you two poles. Okay, you evaluate it, P4 and P5, it will be minus 2 plus minus j. Okay, you can evaluate it by using equation minus 2b plus minus under root b square minus 4ac by 2a. Using that expression you can evaluate the root. Okay, so this will come out to be equal to minus 2 plus minus j. So where this pole will lie? Where is minus 2? Minus 2 is here. Minus 2 plus j means at this axis you have to move up to this point. So somewhere here we will have this pole. Okay, because this is minus 2 point and this is plus j point. So this pole will occur here, minus 2 plus j, and one of the pole at minus 2 minus j. Getting? So this is the pole 0 pattern of this expression. Okay. Now there is one more point of importance, that I am always concerned about this unity point, and I will draw a circle of unit radius. Why I am drawing this circle? I will make it more clear in the latter part. I am drawing a circle of unit radius, and we will see that some of the poles are lying inside this circle, while some of the poles they are lying outside of this circle. Okay, you note it down that some of the poles are lying inside this unit circle and some of the poles are lying outside of this circle. Now suppose a pole 0 pattern is given to us. There is a problem which asks that what will be the Z transform corresponding to the given pole 0 pattern, and the pole 0 pattern which is given here. We have a unity circle, a circle of unit radius, and a pole. There are basically two poles at the origin, and the zeros are situated at this 0.5 position and minus 0.5 position. There are zeros, and a 0 is at 2 position at imaginary axis, and at minus 2 position there is another 0. So these are the pole 0 pattern. So we have to draw, we have to estimate the Z transform or the polynomial. So if you look at the numerator polynomial corresponds to all zeros root. So it will be, the very first root is Z minus Z minus 2j. This is 2j root, and this Z plus 2j. Okay, what about this root? Z minus 0.5j, and what about this root? Z plus 0.5j. This is all the roots and their accumulation in numerator polynomial of the Z transform. What about the denominator polynomial? We have two poles at the origin. This means the denominator polynomial will be equal to Z square. Okay. Now, if you solve, if you multiply all these values, what value you obtain, I am writing down result directly, you can multiply and verify it. This is the result of the multiplication of numerator polynomial over z square. Okay. Now, if you further simplify it, it will be equal to z square plus 4.25 plus z is to the power minus 2. This is your xz. Okay. This is your xz. Now, there is one more thing that is asked in the question, that we have to comment on the whether the signal corresponding to this is even or odd. We will get a signal corresponding to this if we evaluate the inverse Z transform. So, that signal is even signal or odd signal. So, just by using the property, if we have the Z transform of a signal xz, then the Z transform of the flipped version of this signal happens to be x 1 over z. Means everywhere at the place of z we have to replace it by 1 over z in the Z transform, if we have to evaluate the Z transform of the flipped version of the signal. And if by doing so we get the same Z transform as the earlier one, we can say that the signal is even signal. Means we replace every z by 1 by z. So, x 1 by z will be equal to, for this same signal, it will be equal to 1 by z whole square plus 4.25 plus 1 by z to the power minus 2. So, naturally this will be equal to z square. Okay. This will correspond to z square, and this will correspond to z is to the power minus 2. Okay. This will correspond to the z to the power minus 2 plus 4.25 plus z is power minus 2. Getting my point? So, these two values, they are same. Z transform of the flipped version of the signal and Z transform of the original signal, they are same. This means this can happen only if the signal is even. Okay. So, this way, by looking at the Z transform of the signal, we can comment on whether the signal is even signal or odd signal. Getting my point? Now, let us do some more exercise. Determine the pole 0 plot for the signal xn equals to a to the power n for n ranging between m minus 1, 0 to m minus 1 and 0 otherwise. And here a happens to be greater than 0. So, we have to determine the pole 0 plot of this. So, to determine the pole 0 plot, what we need to determine first is Z transform. So, xz, by definition, it is equal to summation n equals to minus infinity to infinity xn, z is to the power minus n. But here the fruitful summation is only ranging between n is equal to 0 to m minus 1, because this signal is 0 beyond this range. So, n is equal to 0 to m minus 1, and there the signal value is a n, z is to the power minus n. Okay. And this way this happens to be a z inverse to the power n, and this summation has to go from n is equal to 0 to m minus 1. So, this is a GP having m terms, GP having m terms. So, for a sum of that GP, which is having common ratio this and having m terms, you can very easily write down the expression 1 minus a z inverse common ratio over the number of terms 1 minus common ratio a z inverse. Okay. Now, just by a simple mathematical manipulation, you can write it down that this is z is to the power m minus a to the power m over z is to the power m minus 1 and z minus a. Okay. You will take this z to the power minus 1 outside. Okay. So, this will be equal to z minus a, and you will take z to the power minus m outside from here. So, this will become z to the power m minus a to the power m. On this z to the power minus m will come over here. So, this will become z to the power m. So, just by this mathematical manipulation you get this expression. Now, you can see, you can very clearly visualize number of zeros and number of poles in this expression. Okay. This is having m poles situated where? If you look at the root of this, so this will be, what about the root? The zeros zk, it will be equal to, it is having value a e to the power j twice pi k over m. It is not coming in the range. This is the situation of kth 0, and it is having m such zeros. Okay. Just for the example, if I select this m to be equal to 8, so it will have 8 zeros. All zeros are occurring at the place at the distance a, but at different angle. So, how it will look like in the z plane? If you see, this is the real z and this is imaginary z, and this is a circle having radius a. Just I am imagining that m equals to 8, so it will have 8 zeros. Very first 0, second 0, this is also occurring at distance a, this is distance a, and third 0, fourth 0, fifth 0, sixth 0, seventh 0 and eighth 0. Okay. And what is the angle of this 0? Here we put k to be equal to 1. Okay. K ranges from 0 to m minus 1. K is ranging from 0, 1 up to m minus 1 in this expression. So, here k is equal to 0, and if k is equal to 0, angle is 0 and it occurs at a. If k is equal to 1, it is twice pi over 8. This means it occurs at this angle, twice pi over 8. We put m to be equal to 8, and for for k equal to 2, it occurs at 4 pi, or this k will be this factor 2 is multiplied over here, 4 pi over 8. This means pi by 2, and it occurs at pi by 2. Okay. This way you can obtain the situation of all zeros on this pole 0 plot. Okay. What about the location of poles? One of the pole occur at z is equal to a. And a pole occurring at the same place where 0 occurs, they both cancel each other. Okay. Now, how many poles are there at the origin? M minus 1 poles. M minus 1 poles occurs at the origin. So, in total, if I say that m is equal to 8, so there are 7 poles occurring at the origin. Okay. In general, if I taken m to be equal to 8, so there are 7 poles which are occurring at the origin. Okay.